That's Kapichat! That's Kapichat! That's Kapichat! You never amount to nothing, Tromans!
Press recording now.
Saturation buff.
Saturation buff. Really?
Saturation nerf. It doesn't look any different, that one. Is it any different?
No, you look the same.
Oh no.
Oh, you've gone black and white.
Black and white. That's when we want to do artistic type things. Nice. This is going to be fun. It's called Synth Wave 1980s. What do you reckon this is going to be like?
Bit wavy. You're going to get hair back. Oh.
Disco.
Groovy.
Orc attack. What do orcs do? I was being a zombie then, rather than an orc.
I'm an orc.
Orchid L.
Orc and Mindy.
Lemonioni. It's just yellow.
Yeah.
And then you can do this.
Zooming on Zoom.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I literally have to move my body.
Yeah, same effect.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh.
I might do it like this.
Got a full head of hair. Just be like that when he turns up. Yeah, when he appears, just be like that. I'll just leave it recording now. Oh, you'll wait.
Alright. Oh. What else can we do? Go that way. It's not moving. Oh no, it's stuck. Hello. What else? Go ultra wide. Do telephoto. Zoom in on that. So you get my nostril hairs. That's not too bad actually. It's too close. I quite like it. I'm using the telephoto lens real close now. You can see each individual hair.
You can. 1080p.
And if you look at the top, look, if I go just there, it's like I've got my Mohican.
Hi, Paul.
What are you doing now?
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Yeah, we'll cut that out. I quite like that hair, so I might grow it. Except it would only be like that if I was to grow it. That's all it would grow. I'd want that, but it would be that. Shall I tell him to press the button on the email now?
Yeah, tell him to press the button.
But whenever you're ready, ready, click the link in the email. Thumbs up. Oh, I've done 2 thumbs up. I'm strangely nervous for some reason. It's weird, isn't it?
Because suddenly we're interviewing people for the first time.
I know. What are we doing this for?
I don't know.
We're not interviewers. We just had a chat with each other and thought, yeah, this will be a good idea. Let's meet someone we've never spoken to and assume that it will be the same. Here we go. 293 we had.
Yeah.
17 Shazams.
That's not bad because that's the end of the month as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it? Or does that include the
I don't know. Top Shazam cities. This is interesting. Lisbon, Porto, and Faro. Faro. Where's that? Is that Portugal as well?
Don't know.
Crunk
Never amount to nothing, Drayman's. What?
Yeah. Crunk got Shazammed 13 times.
Crunk did?
Yeah. From the Songs album, not the other one. In It to Win It got twice. We had 285 plays in Bristol.
Bristol?
Bristol. Who do we know is in Bristol?
Massive Attack?
Portishead?
They've been listening to us.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
We have a man.
You.
I recognise that voice.
In the bottom left-hand corner, there should be something that says Start Video.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do that?
Hey!
How you doing?
I'm all right. Apart from, you know, I looked at loads of backgrounds. I thought, oh, yeah, I'll put me a groovy background on. I thought, no, this is going to be a serious thing.
Well, this might just be to start off with, just so that you know that I'm me and
I'm me.
Him.
Simon. Am I okay to call you Steve and Si?
Whatever you want to call us.
Call us what you want.
Okay.
You're the boss round here, Dromans.
Yeah. Is that right?
You're in charge.
That'll do me. Cheers, by the way.
Good.
Cheers.
Oh,
Good.
I've got a Sharpie. Cheers with a Sharpie. How you doing anyway?
Yes, I'm good. This is all a bit bizarre. But yeah, I'm good. You pair okay?
Good. Yeah, right.
Yeah. We just said what are we doing, didn't we? Like when did we start interviewing people? When did this happen? But let's see what happens. So yeah.
I've just got to say, my belly might start making a few noises because I've eaten far too much tonight.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. I made a pizza.
Yeah.
To start off with, just covered it in everything.
To start with.
Yeah, wait for it. Yeah. So I made a pizza. No, actually, no. Sorry. For starters, I bought some donuts home from Tesco's. Had a cup of tea. Had a donut. About 15 minutes later, made a pizza. Ate that. Then cooked up this cookie dough dessert, which is just cookie dough and chocolate and everything. Had a quarter of that. Kids had the rest of it. I'd say they had more, but probably didn't. I had a slightly bigger portion than them, I would say. Then had a cup of tea, and the best thing that goes with a cup of tea is a donut because we had some left, and I feel awful. I do.
Well,
too much food.
I'll probably keep belching all the way through this. I do apologise. I mean, you've listened to the show. It's kind of something that I do, especially when I've got the apple juice on board. So,
well, I was actually going to ask. I was going to ask you to burp anyway, so I'm glad you brought that up because this wouldn't be right if you weren't burping all the way through it. If you don't mind.
No, you're right.
So that'd be great, and you can say shit and bollocks as well if you want. So
excellent. I was going to ask, because I have got a bit of a mouth on me.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to censor something that nobody actually really watches anyway, I don't suppose.
I don't think our 17 subscribers are going to worry too much. But
17 subscribers?
17. Yeah. It was 16 this morning. It's gone up to 17 today. It's,
blimey. This is good stuff.
It's going. It is, isn't it? It is. After this.
I've now reached 75 followers on Mixcloud. which
Have
is just
you?
which is just amazing.
Great.
I never thought 75 people would bother.
Well, that's a good show. Your show is great. For anybody who doesn't know, by the way, we've not actually introduced you at all.
We've just talked about your tea, Steve. Brilliant.
Yeah, I did it. Most important thing, I did it. But everybody, this is Pete Tromans. He is the Noise Merchant. He's got an absolutely brilliant radio show. What do you call it? Radio show? Podcast? What?
Yeah. It was a radio. It started off as a radio show, and then when you realise that nobody's listening to it, it's a podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody's listening to it live, I should say. Then it's a podcast. So yeah, it's a radio show, but it's a podcast.
Yeah, well, I think that's how people are listening to a lot of things nowadays, isn't it? It's with the podcast rather than actually live. I think it's. I know for me, it's a lot more convenient to have a podcast kind of format. It's
It's a shame though, isn't it? Because back in the day, you'd be sitting there listening to the radio, and you knew that if someone else liked this radio show, there'd be thousands of other people listening at the same time, even though you weren't with them. You just knew they're out there listening. But now when you listen to something, you're always thinking, I'm just in isolation here listening to it. And I don't know, it's that whole community thing, which I think we crave, isn't it? Which is why kind of we're in a band, why you put on gigs, probably why you go to gigs, is because we still crave that kind of feel of community, don't we?
Definitely. And to do it live as well, it's just once it's out there, it's done. Yeah. Whatever you've said, however stupid you've made yourself sound, it's done. Where with sort of pre-records, the temptation to keep editing every 5 minutes, I'll just play that back. Yeah. Oh no, that was rubbish. I'll do that again. Mm-hmm. So even when I do pre-record now, I just do it as if I was going live anyway. So
yeah, that's the best way. That's the best way.
But I think
I like the format that you've got to.
Sorry, go on.
So no, you know.
No,
I was just saying.
Fucking Zoom.
I'm stop.
The format of your last one that you did, that was on Mixler, was it? Or
yes, it was. Yeah.
The fact that you got that the chat room option as well on that makes it more of a kind of community thing as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
good way of doing it.
You've got that on Mixcloud as well. When you go like when you've got like a pro account, because like it's sort of it's a sort of platform really for sort of proper DJs. So they have cameras set up and everything, and they're doing what they do. So and then there's a chat room option there. So yeah, I mean, obviously, this is only for live, by the way. It's not. Obviously, it's not on the when you listen back at any old time. But yeah, when it's live. So yeah, that option's there on Mixcloud as well. But it is good. It is good. The MixLR thing sort of came about because they had a free 2-week trial on it.
Nice.
So I thought, there you go. Mm-hmm. I'll have me some of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And, I think I saw. Didn't Jason? Is it Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
Is it or Tatum? Yes. He. I saw he mentioned that to you as well on one of your. Mm-hmm. On your posts, so he does a show. His is pretty good as well. It's
Wayne who is it Wayne Elliott, I think, who does Pulse Beat. Right. He's sort of the global punk radio. They've kind of asked me, because I said about I prefer doing it live, if I wanted to jump on board with them. So I said I'll test the software first, see what I think of it, and then so
you're going to do it?
The likelihood is I will become part of the global punk even radio.
Yeah. Cool. Do they have do you get a bigger audience with that, or is it just kind of just still up to you to promote it all? And
yes, it's purely down to I suppose how much you push it. I know the good thing about on there is that they tend to get picked up by other radio shows. So their show will go, or radio stations, I should say. So I think each, you've got Mick and Jason, Jamie, Wayne. They're on probably 4 to 5 different radio stations as well. Yeah, that put their show out on. So that might happen. So that will definitely give me a bigger audience, obviously. But
That'd be brilliant. That'd be great.
Yeah. Now, what we need to know, Pete, that's where you're at now. We need to know, where did this all start? What's your journey with music, punk music, etc.? Where does it start?
Right. I had a brother who still got a brother, and he had we shared a room. He had a fantastic music collection of 70s rock, I suppose, and so it was always there in the bedroom. So that's kind of where I sort of started listening to Queen and to that sort of stuff, I suppose, really. And then, I suppose when I was about 12, I got my first guitar. I'd asked for a guitar, so I got my first guitar, which was a Gibson Les Paul, a K copy from out the catalogue, basically. Yeah, and a little practice amp. Where do we go from there? So that was really, and I was around that sort of age. I was very much into sort of metal.
Yeah,
I was a bit of a metalhead. Yeah. So this is 12. So this was 1982 sort of time.
Okay. We're talking hair metal. We're talking the.
Sorry, Steve.
We're talking the hair metal kind of.
Yes.
Spandex.
Yes.
Kinda...
Yes. So I was a big sort of headbanger and sort of thing. Yeah. I had all the gear. I had all the relevant gear.
Yeah.
Where were you living? Where did you grow up, Pete?
This is it's a place called Tipton in the West Midlands. In the Black Country in the West Midlands. Nearest places you might have heard of, Dudley, maybe.
Dudley,
Dudley's Castle. Yeah. So we were a couple of miles sort of outside of Dudley. So that was there. Yeah. Not a place I really want to go back to be fair. But
there's a bit of a rock kind of history to the kind of the Midlands, in that area, the West Midlands. And were you part of that at that time? Was that significant to you?
Yeah, well, I suppose there was always sort of Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin. These were two big names that were from the Midlands. So it was I think this area, I would say, is predominantly sort of rock based. Anybody who's sort of there's more of that sort of venue, and so it was kind of it, and all my mates. I mean, the majority of my mates was into the same sort of stuff, but I hung around with a load of punks as well, and so I was kind of listening to all sorts around the same sort of time. A load of sort of the late 70s punk stuff and stuff that, obviously around the 82, it was always there. And then kind of, as I left school 84, it was, I kind of started checking out the more alternative side, bands and that. And I guess it was when I left school that it kind of all changed musically. Kept the sort of noisy side of it, but sort of went and checked out other stuff,
Was there a lot of good venues? There's a lot of good venues for back in those days?
There was a fantastic venue actually in Dudley called JB's.
Right.
And in the early days, so I would have been going there probably when I was 18, 19. it was a small club, probably held 700 maybe.
Okay.
It was where everybody cut their teeth. So Blur had their first paid ever gig there, and and trying to think who else came along. Stone Roses, they sort of went through there as well, and they'd play on like a Thursday night. And then the next time you'd see him, it'd be a Friday or a Saturday night. But that club was fantastic, and it's been going for some time. So it had hosted U2 had played there, Blondie had played there.
That's some big names.
Yes, yeah. Like I say, it was kind of on the map, and loads of really great, but all through the punk era and sort of the two-tone, because obviously Coventry not being that far away, they all played there as well. But for me, I suppose, seeing the likes of early Blur and Stone Roses and there's never many sort of international bands that played there. It was mostly just like UK bands doing the circuit. So, but it was a fantastic club, and it was significant for everybody in the area who was into alternative music. Yeah. And it's the place where me and Lisa, my wife, met.
Right.
And it's like everybody has sort of got their story about that club, about meeting there, and the friendships made there and everything. Yeah. I'm sure every town's got one, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, most towns have had one, and they've disappeared by now. That's the problem, isn't it? That they're still gone now. So you've said that those kind of indie alternative bands you've mentioned. Do you still have a soft spot for those as well as the heavier music?
Yes, yeah. Oh, definitely, because it's sort of. I suppose for me, I'll look at punk music as I don't suppose I look at as punk being a music. I kind of it is an attitude. It is it's a life choice, I suppose.
Yeah,
and especially in the sort of DIY sort of community. Mm-hmm. So I would consider Blur as much as a punk band as, say, somebody who might go, oh well, the Sex Pistols, they were a punk band. I'd say Blur were a punk band. Somebody always likes to pigeonhole, don't they, and say, oh, they're this, they're this. Yeah. But now, they played an absolute massive part in everything that sort of I did. Musically, they those bands. Molded me, I suppose, if that's the right term.
Yeah.
And then of course, go on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that kind of as Das Capitans and me and Steve, we're very the same as that, aren't we? Like how kind of punk is just kind of an expression of kind of freedom almost, and to be whatever you want. It's that permission to be what you want and to sound like what you want and to not pigeonhole. Which a lot of my background is that alternative indie music like Blur and Stone Roses. That's exactly what I was listening to, but then kind of crosses over to the stuff that Steve was listening to as well, and it kind of creates the sound we make, which is just an expression of ourselves. Therefore we tag the word punk onto it as well. So totally get what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that is totally somebody you get. You look on all these punk sites that have got people who were there at the beginning, or we were there at the beginning, and there's a lot of you can't look, you can't be punk if you look like that. You can't be, but they're not a punk band. He's got long hair. This whole thing with beards and everything. It's just bizarre. I'm thinking. This is really strange. There's, I suppose, when you look at, for me, people will sort of say, "Oh, the Sex Pistols, they were the punk band," or some band like the Clash. Crass were the punk band. They were a band that did everything different and didn't want to rip you off and didn't sign to that major label. It was.
I find Sex Pistols very difficult to deal with. Really, I find they've got one or two good songs. I really have, but they're so manufactured in the time as well, weren't they? They were the first. I suppose they were the ones that brought punk to the mainstream as such, but they're no different to really a boy band that's being put together to suit a certain style to a degree. It's in a way, it's some of their songs are amazing, like Bodies, for example. I absolutely love Bodies. That's a brilliant song. But I don't know, it's all a big show, really. I don't think that's really what I would personally class as punk.
No. So, like I say, I love them, listen to them. As with all things that were then and were holding, two fingers up to society and the upper class and everything, and their thoughts on it back then, as they get older, they've kind of turned into this what they were shouting about, against and everything. So basically all about, sort of John Lydon, he's turned out to be a twat, and he probably has always been a twat, isn't he? You know what I mean? So but
So what happened then? I mean, I think we're up to about the 90s now, 90s and 2000s. What are you listening to? Are you discovering new music during these decades, or just looking?
Sort of. I was, I suppose, a bit earlier. I really got into the Smiths, and they still are one of my, my all-time favourite bands. I love the Smiths. Again, another bloke who's got old, who's turned into a bit of an arsehole. And people might say that he was an arsehole in the first place, and he probably was.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the Smiths. Absolutely love the Smiths. And then grunge came along and completely sort of, blew me away. I was a big follower of sort of the bands on Sub Pop. And sort of, I remember early on seeing Nirvana when they came to Birmingham, and Mudhoney, and just that. I think that sort of sound and everything was something that I constantly tried to replicate badly, I should say, but I tried.
So you were still making music. You were making music at this point, were you, or have you always made music?
Yeah. I suppose so I started playing when I was 12, and was kind of about 18, 19. I joined a mate's brother's band who were called Les Presley and the Press-on-Tells. Who were part covers band and part. And when I say covers band, it was like almost like a comedy covers band.
All right.
And then, so we used to do two sets basically, and then the other stuff was all original stuff that they'd done. So that was, that was enjoyable. It was, it was more fun just to meet up than it was serious. And then I was in I joined a band called Thunderbug, who were around the same sort of time as Wonder Stuff, Ned's Atomic Dustbin, all around that sort of time, which where I live now, Stourbridge, obviously, that they were all from Stourbridge, Popwell itself. So they were sort of playing that kind of stuff, but with a punkier edge, I suppose, more of a Ramones feel about it.
Okay.
And they were brilliant. Luckily for them, I didn't write any songs for them. That was brilliant. And Thunderbug, I've uploaded all the demos that we did, so they're all on YouTube somewhere.
Oh,
And
I'm looking for those.
yes, yeah, they're brilliant. They are good. Yeah, I remember when we went and sort of did the demo and everything. He really was fantastic. You know, he was brilliant. But we never really travelled much out of the Midlands at all. And then mid-90s, started a band that were called the Self-Preservation Society. And that was probably the band that we had the most success with. I did a lot of the writing, and that was good. We got some good supports. Supported the Damned in Dudley. The Damned. A lot of the punk bands that sort of came through Dudley, we put ourselves up for the support. So which was good. UK Subs, Peter and Test Tube Babies. A lot of the bands that sort of I'm not really that interested in apart from the Damned, early Damned. So that was good. But I was more into the meeting up and having a beer and having the crack than I was at putting time in learning the instrument and becoming better. And it was more just a piss up. If I'm completely honest, it was more just a piss up. So
I've always been the same. I mean, I got to a certain standard of playing guitar when I was about 18, and I'm still about the same now. I can't be asked.
Yeah,
I don't want to be. I've got no interest in being a brilliant guitarist. Like other people can do that. That's fine. I just want to write some cool songs. I just want to write some cool songs and do some gigs. If I can play well enough for that, that suits me. I think you're the same, Steve, aren't you? We've never really pushed ourselves.
Yeah. I've got no interest in being Steve Vai or anybody like that. Just kind of doing all that kind of stuff. I just want to, as long as I can play my chords that I want to play and do a noise solo over something, that'll do for me.
And it means you can still watch Johnny Marr or Graham Coxon and go, how the fuck are they doing that? So if I was a really good guitarist, it would just be like, I can do that as well, but I can't. So that's my reason. So I can still have heroes, I guess. Yeah.
That was exactly my reason as well.
I'm going to start using that one too. That's good.
Yeah. But I'd stopped playing guitar and I was playing bass because, I think Thunderbug needed a bass player. So I became a bass player. Of which I would tell everybody. My thing that I go around the pub saying is that I'm better than the bass player than the bass player out of therapy. I just go around, I'm better than him. People go, I'm they wouldn't sort of say, oh, show us. They'd just go, oh, right, okay. So that was my thing. I'm better than the bass player in the therapy. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Now we know that you play. Before the end of the year, we've got to get you on a Das Capitans track before the end of the year. We've got to do it.
Oh, really?
We've got to do it, yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, because of one thing and another, I sadly had to sell. I had a wonderful Fender jazz bass, 1986. 86 Fender jazz bass that kids needed school clothes and all the rest of it. So I had to sell it. And even though it's absolutely gutted me, it served a purpose. It was just sitting there, but.
Well, when all this bollocks blows over, we'll come down with a bass guitar and a laptop, and we'll get you on a Das Capitans track before the end of the year. Right, Steve, can we commit to that, Steve? Yeah,
I'm on it. That's good. Excellent. Sounds good to me.
Excellent. That's the plan. I've still got my amp still here. It's like by the side of me. I kept the amplifier. I kept saying, out of the money that I sold the bass for, I'll get me. What there's a German company called a music shop, online music store. Thommans, is it Thommans?
Thommans. Yeah.
I've heard fantastic things about their jazz bass copies. They're supposed to be wonderful. So them around like £100. So I thought, right, I'll save me £100 out that money. I'll get me one. But my £100's gone somewhere else.
Yeah, you don't need to spend much at all anymore. No, the quality of the cheap ones is so good now that you just don't need to spend much money. So Yeah, do it. Get yourself one. When did you become the noise merchant? When did that happen?
There was I'd started putting gigs on around I don't know 2000 and when are we now? What about 2017, 2016, 2017?
Okay.
I was traveling everywhere. Me and my mate Pig, we'd go to see like good quality, or even quality, just good, different DIY punk bands. We'd always have to travel. We'd be traveling to Manchester, to Bristol, to Cardiff, down to London, Liverpool. And so I says, because in Birmingham, they didn't really seem to be having these bands on. And, you'd look at, tour dates for Revenge of the Psychotronic Man, and the Midlands would be totally missed out. So I says, right, okay, well, I'll start putting them on in Stourbridge, and we'll get bands to sort of to come here instead.
Nice.
Now, that was started about then, and then probably a year after, I got this. What's this here? I've got a thing come up on my screen saying.
Well, yeah,
Does
it say we're running out of time, Steve?
No, it's ever been updated for unlimited minutes.
Yeah.
Have we? They must be enjoying it, whoever's listening to this. We're doing all right.
Trevor Zoom is enjoying it.
Yeah. Sorry, Pete, carry on. Where were you?
Yeah, so out of the blue, this fella got in touch with me and said, would you like to do a radio show? And I was like, who on earth would want to listen? I mean, you can hear me now. You've heard me on the show. Who on earth would want to listen to me? And he says, come to Birmingham, come and meet me. We'll have a chat. I'll buy the pint and we'll take it from there. So I went along and, I said, right, okay. So I think I did my first show. I think that was 2017, actually. Yeah, I think that was when I did the first show, and that was on Royal Now Radio.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah.
So again, another internet one. Used to go live. I think I pre-recorded the first few, but then thought, no, let's if I'm going to do it, let's do it properly, like and go live. So that's how it started. That's how it all started. I've got this fella's name was O-R-E, and he's from Israel, and all thanks to him. I've done this, and I ain't looked back since. I've had a couple of spells where I've had to stop because my mental health's been a bit rubbish, so I've had to just like kick back a bit. Yeah. But it's been absolutely fantastic. It really has.
It's a great show. I found some amazing bands through your show. It's really like, for example, your Noise of the Week this week or last week, the Incisions album. I've been listening to that this week. Yeah. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and definitely up there for one of the albums of the year already.
Yeah, I've been seeing that posted. Loads of people have been talking about that.
Yeah, I have as well. And I must say, I did love your daughter's reviews as well. They were very helpful for me to decide what I liked as well. So
yes, well, yeah, has got a finger on the pulse. She really has.
She has. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, just like at Christmas, I do a top 20, but it's done by my cat Salem chooses the songs, and he hosts the show. So that's always good. Yeah. He knows a bit more about it than me, to be fair. He's very good. Hopefully, you never know. One day, Honey and Salem might just do a show on their own. Yeah, that might be the end of the Noise Merchant.
Why not?
Yeah.
So how's the last year been for you? Because it's been a shit year, obviously. Has it? Because you haven't been able to get to gigs, which has probably been a bit crap for you. What's it been like? Yeah,
it has been rubbish. I can't believe that the last gig I went to see Girls in Synthesis and a local band called Knife Club playing Birmingham, and I think the week after That was it. Everything was shut down, and they weren't doing anything. But it's been, as I sort of mentioned a bit earlier, that suffering with my mental health, going to gigs. I've kind of got a problem with being in groups of people that I don't know, that are not kind of on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
But DIY punk gigs, the DIY community as a whole, are just on a completely different. They've just helped me so much, just by knowing these people. And like I say before, when we've travelled to Manchester or Liverpool or London, you just meet these people, the same people all around, doing the same things, and they're friends, and it's just wonderful. So it not being able to get to gigs has probably hit me more than I realised it had. And I've had a couple of proper rubbish spells this year and last year. But yeah, because I never wanted to miss anything. I could not get enough gigs. I could not get to enough gigs, basically. If I could, get there and stop over and have the crack, I'd be there. So that's as a punter, I suppose. But to be in a band and not be able to do what what I suppose you were meant to be doing must be.
It has been. It's been absolutely horrible. I mean, we had probably the best gig I've done in my life, to be honest, was like the week before lockdown. We played there's a group band here called who put on gigs called the Scary Clown. And that's a real punk DIY community. You probably know them. And it was, their gigs are packed out from 7 o'clock in the evening. That room is packed out. Whole community there to watch the 4 or 5 bands. And we were like privileged enough to be put on the night with Snuff when Snuff were headlining.
Fantastic, yeah.
Which Snuff, the Crippins, there's Crippins, Weircats, Heist.
Yeah.
I saw this advertised.
Yeah, it's a hell of a gig.
Yeah. One hell of a gig. It's such a good night, and it was the first. This is before Das Kapichat. It's Fuzz and the Felts. So it was kind of the first gig where like people were going, "Fucking hell, you're a bit different. You're quite good, you guys. You surprised us." So and then a couple of weeks later, lockdown comes, and we haven't done anything since, and it's just shit. And so that's. Sorry, go on. The
momentum that we kind of built up by that point had just kind of gone then, and it's it's frustrating, but
it was. And that, as you know, that's how sort of Das Kapichat was born at the end of the year, because I was struggling with not doing anything. That's my social life, is meeting up with those 3 lads and playing music. So I was struggling without that, so we had to find a way of recreating that, and we've done that through Das Kapichat. And tell you what, this year is flying by so bloody fast, and there's always something to think about, always something to do. And I know we're not here to talk about us, but no, it's been about the thing, though, isn't it?
I don't know if you know of there was a band last year called TV Face from I don't know if they're from Manchester, Lancaster, maybe. And they brought out a single at the end of each Friday of every month? Yeah, it was. So then at the every 3 months, obviously they'd bring like a package out of that. And I did exactly the same. I followed them and I played their things for everything. So when I heard that you lot were doing an album a month, it was like, right, okay. And I just thought to myself, well, how can this kind of, you can have ideas and everything, but how can this last? I mean, up to bloody hell, you've played a blinder. You really have.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I remember. I mean, because I think I picked up on Das Kapichat's late last year, and I think you got in touch with me, Steve, and says, "Oh, I think I played you on the show," and then you sort of says, "Oh, this is just like sort of a test for stuff we put out on maybe that we're going to put out for Fuzz and the Felts. So I got introduced to Fuzz and the Felts at the same, at the same time, which was cool. But yeah, an album a month, bloody hell.
Yeah, so in the middle of last year, I was just recording songs which weren't really. They were even definitely not going to be getting played by Fuzz and the Felts, or going to kind of see what kind of reaction they would get before. That's what I was trying to keep it kind of. That's one of the reasons why I was trying to keep it a secret as to who I was, to see if they'd get a good reaction if I'd gotten played on the radio, and then I could go to the band and say, look, this song, I've got it played on the radio, they like it, and they don't know who I am, so let's say it's us. But I think it was only, I think you played it. I played a few songs, and BBC played a few songs, but I couldn't keep up much longer after that. I needed a bit of help.
It has been brilliant. Blah 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 is a phenomenal album. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I remember playing it. I played it from start to finish, in one sitting, which is unusual for me because I listen to that much music. I kind of had to cherry pick my way through. So I'll have an album and I'll just oh, that sounds good. I'll move on to the next one to try and pick a playlist and whatever, and kind of go back to stuff after. But it's very rare for me to put an album on and stay with it from start to finish. And I did. Blah, blah, blah. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, it's a bit of a different one next month. Next month, it's an acoustic. I don't know if you know, but it's an acoustic album next month,
yes,
which I was terrified about doing that because I haven't written a song on acoustic guitar for years. So I thought this is going to be maybe an 8-track, 10 at most album. And we've put it together today. And 18 tracks?
18 tracks, 18 tracks on Bandcamp, 16 on the streaming services, because we wanted to try and, you've seen that we want to try and raise some money by selling it on Bandcamp. So we're doing the incentive of having 2 extra tracks on there which aren't available on the streamers. So hopefully people will buy it then.
And a worthy cause as well. So
yes,
fantastic. Fantastic. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
It's not. I was a bit unsure about the acoustic album as well, to be honest with you, just because I thought the kind of momentum that we're building up so far with the music that we've been doing up until now, is an acoustic album going to kind of not go down well with the people who've been liking us so far, if you know what I mean. But it's, in all honesty, I listened to it through a couple of times today, and it's good. I must admit, it's good. It's not. Yeah. It's not just a kind of dreary kind of acoustic like folk album or anything like that. It's Das Kapitans, but with acoustic guitars instead of electric guitars.
Brilliant.
So you'll be the first to hear it, I'm sure. We will let you go soon, Pete. All right. There's a few more things we need to talk about. Okay. One of them, I was going to ask you, are you into football? Now, Steve said before you got on here, he knows who you support. I don't. So can you let me know, please?
Yeah, I'm a Baggy supporter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to be a season ticket holder. It was funny because it was kind of, I just got fed up. I think it was when Pulis became manager.
Yeah, he'd do that.
That makes sense.
I just thought, fuck this. Yeah, sorry, I'm out of here. So I stopped. But yeah, Baggies.
You still follow them, though? You still do?
I'd like to sort of say yes, but I don't. It was kind of, I was, again, through my brother, he was a big Baggies fan. He was a season ticket holder, and he used to take me down with him when I was a kid. And then I think I started to become a season ticket holder. Maybe 2008, something like that. I did 7 or 8 seasons, and then like I say, I just kind of got I just lost. Whether it was just that one sentence, the new manager is Tony Pulis, whether it was that did it, I don't know. But
That would do
yeah,
it.
that was
Is
it.
there-
So I haven't kept up on it. But I went round. We went round to Lisa's folks the other day, and he went. Oh, did you see the score the other night? I said, what score? He went, against Chelsea. I went, oh shit, how many did we lose by? He went, 5-2. I went, oh, only 5-2. He went, you won? I said, you are fucking joking. So I went and checked it out. The one thing I did check, and I always keep an eye on, is the results against the boys in old gold and black.
Yeah.
Those wonderful dog heads, yeah. And as per usual, we beat them. So yeah, so that was good. That was good. So I'm thinking, what are you? Is Norwich your closest?
Got it in one. Yeah, both of us. Yeah.
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 Do you go as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, not as much as I'd like to. Well, certainly not for the last year, but no, I've been going since I've been 11 years old down at Carrow Road. Yeah, absolute massive love of mine is Norwich City and football in general, really. So as well as music. So
brick in the stadium, haven't you? You've got your
I have
name
got
on
a brick in the stadium, and I met up with Darren Eady about 18 months ago outside the stadium. I got a picture of me and Darren Eady pointing at my brick. That was a good day. Yeah.
Happy days.
It's amazing what makes you happy, isn't it? Yeah, Darren Eady and a brick. That's all I need. That's all I need. So yeah, music and football, absolute huge love. And we've had a good 10 years really as football supporters, haven't we, Steve, with Norwich? We go up one year, come down the next, go up the next year. It's been good supporting Norwich, but if Tony Pulis joins our club, that's the end of it. It was bad enough having Chris Heaton. So no, Tony Pulis, that'll be the end of it. No,
I remember because there was talk of Chris coming to our club. I think we were both after him at the same time. Oh, right. You beat us to him. Oh.
Yeah, he got us relegated, didn't he? So
yeah, he did. Yeah.
So what we need to know, I think, to finish up with, really, because we need to let you go. What are your current music recommendations then? What is catching you at the minute?
As we spoke about before, the new in-season album is just brilliant. I suppose because I've got my hopefully next weekend, I should be announcing the my new label. I'm starting a record label. So the bands on there are all fantastic so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about it, Pete. Tell us about that. Sorry, we went to ask about that. Tell us about your record label.
Again, I wanted to do something that was helping out because I don't play, because I was crap at it when I did do it, but I love it. It's outside of my kids and my wife. It's the biggest part of what I do, of what I am. Yeah, there you go. Of what I am. So it's just another thing that I thought I could do, just like putting the gigs on, where you kind of it was just, I can do this, I could bring bands, and people can find new music, and then the radio show as well. So the label, well, I just want to do it so a lot of these bands that I play from outside of the UK, I can put on this label and share the music, limited run cassettes, basically, 2025. All that'll be done here. I had a loan. Well, I say a loan, it's an investment of my dad and my brother. So I've bought me a load of good kit, and so I'll be duplicating them. I shall be doing all the covers, everything myself, all in this very room here. So
nice.
That's brilliant.
Oh yeah, so that's the label, and on the label, Motherfucker Teresa, a one band who were a Noise of the Week. I think they were the last one of last year. I think they were. So their album, Old News, is still new news. I'll be putting that out. A wonderful band called Rotura from Spain. They brought an album out that is something in Spanish that I can't remember, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Band from London called Fork Bomb. They brought a 4-track EP out. Again, kind of an hardcore band. And I think there's a couple of Argentinians in them and a couple of sort of Londoners. And who else? Oh, it's me alarm. And oh Christ, who's the other one I'm putting out? This is a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
We're going to sit in silence now till you remember. Yeah.
Come on, who is it? Who is it? Who's this band?
Who is this band? I can't remember. This is another thing. I'm shocking. My memory's shocking. Whether it's the apple juice or again, if anybody who's listened to the show, if you listen to the show, I am absolutely, my memory's shot. The other band is they're from. That's it. Oh no, that's it. 4 bands. I said 4 bands. Yes. 2 from the UK.
You said one
the other band from the UK is which one is that? Fucking know about it. Oh, Paulois from Somerset. Ska punk band. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely fantastic band. They brought an album out last year called Nocturnal Spirits, and it's wonderful. And they came, I put them on in Dudley, and they came and stayed over with us. And they were 3 lads, absolutely fantastic. And so that one is kind of, that one's for me. That one is,
Yeah,
even though everybody will love it. So yeah. Anybody else? I'll tell you what. There was a band called the Cell Phones. They've played on the show a lot. They brought an album out last year called something I can't remember. It's just excellent, just fantastic.
Where are they from?
They are from. How about this? I can probably remember where they're from, but not what the album's called. They are from Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. It's female vocalists, bass player, drummer, and it's just wonderful. I'm trying to think what it's called now. I can't remember. And then there's another band called oh God. There's loads of bands. There's loads of great bands.
Loads of bands.
I'll tell you what. Listen to the show on Monday, and they'll all be on there. Every single last fucking one of them will be on there.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
So your show is every Monday at 8:00.
8:00 for the time being, and hopefully for the definitely this Monday, and then hopefully after on Global Punk Radio, it's on Mixlr.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you for taking the "You'll Never Amount to Nothing" Tromans bit out of the song and putting it on your show. I love that. You'll never amount to nothing, Tromans. There we go.
You know what? It never happened either. Never happened.
Yeah.
No, nobody's ever said that to me. No, never. So, but it's brilliant.
We have.
Yeah. No,
That's
but
brilliant.
it's fantastic. God, blimey,
Well,
that was wonderful when I heard that. Cheers, lads.
You're welcome. No, thank you for everything you've done for us over this year so far. And we look forward to keeping in touch. Send you music, listening to your show. We'll let you go and rest your brain now because we've made you think a bit. And you didn't burp once. You didn't burp.
No, I think I held them in. I cracked another can open, but I think I held them in well.
We need a burp before you go. We got to have one.
I ain't going to be able to do it. Of course, I ain't going to be able to do one now.
Well, sit here and wait.
Yeah. I'll throw an extra couple in on Monday's show.
Perfect.
Nice one. Thank you very much. Right.
Brilliant.
Well, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
And everybody listening to The Noise Merchant. Brilliant.
Yeah. Thanks for thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Kapichat! That's Kapichat! That's Kapichat!